Today I'm gonna show you how to change wheel hub carrier or wheel hub assembly. I don't even know exact name, but that's the piece right here. This piece consists or has inside a wheel bearing as well. I decided to change the wheel bearing at the shop. Shop charged me $25 to change, but wheel bearing is actually inside this assembly. Now, since this Porsche was involved in an accident, I decided to change this assembly as well, just to be safe. And this guide or how-to video gonna help you if you need to remove it to change wheel bearing. It'll be pretty much same as with what I'm doing, because what I'm doing is I'm actually changing this piece, but if you need to change wheel bearing, instructions gonna be pretty much identical. One thing that might be confusing to some people, but when you're gonna take this off, you do not need to remove this nut. Usually it's like axle nut, but in here, as you can see, there is no axle, so you do not need to take this off, just leave it like that. And one of the ways I know is, first of all, there is nothing behind, and on this one you can see I have this right here. Light kind of bothers, but right here. So what we'll need to do instead is we'll have to take the tie rod end off, which actually, by the way, when you're gonna change yours, make sure you inspect it. Like you see, mine is bad, so I'm gonna replace it as well since I'm here. And let's see what else. Other part is the lower control arm. Some people recommend removing it from here. I'm gonna remove it from here. And the reason I'm removing it from here is because obviously I'm replacing this piece anyway, so if you're gonna remove it from there, I think both of them will be about the same. I'm not sure which one's actually harder, but like I said, my guide gonna show you how to remove it from here. And what else? We're gonna have to take off the brake assembly. I forgot how it's called, but we're gonna have to remove this piece, also remove this rotor, then probably you'll have to take this part, unscrew this bolt and this one. There could be more, but we'll see. I'll do one at a time and you'll see what I'm doing. One thing I sort of misspoke about that axle nut. If you're gonna remove the assembly to change wheel bearing, you will have to remove that axle nut, because you'll have to obviously take that assembly apart. If you're doing like me, if you just have to change this part for whatever reasons, then you do not need to take the bolt off. So I'm not gonna take the bolt off. If you will take this nut off, my advice is make sure the car is still on the ground. You remove the piece in the middle, that way you have access and you're gonna get your nut loosened. You might have to use breaker bar, impact, wrench tools, whatever you can to loosen that bolt. One thing also before we begin, move the steering wheel kind of straight so that this assembly or this rotor gonna be parallel to the car. First thing we have to do is remove the brake pad sensors. And you have some like a needle nose pliers that might be better, but I'll just use this. Just be careful not to damage it. So there are two of them, one here and one over there. Just try to be gentle with it, and like I say, with needle nose pliers it would be better. There you go. So now it's removed. Now we have to remove this small pin retainer. I don't know if you can kind of see it. I'll try to use a small screwdriver, hopefully that's gonna work. I pushed it down, now it's right here. You don't need to use this tool, but it might be helpful, so it's right here. Hopefully I didn't lose it out right here. So now that it's removed, now what we'll need to do is push this I guess it's called retaining pin, I don't know. Whatever, this metal one. You could use like this. I'll just get a small hammer, but you have to push this stuff. Found this random screw. Looks like it fits fine, so let's see if that's gonna work. Yep. Okay, got this stuff out. Still have to get this piece out. Alright, it's out, even though I damaged this screw, but oh well, doesn't matter. What I always do is I keep this here to make sure I don't lose. Right here. So now we're gonna remove this piece, and there are one right here. Okay, the size we need is T55. First I'm gonna loosen it. Now you can remove them completely off. Just kind of wiggle it around. Guess that's a brake line. Okay, one thing I didn't notice before, right here there's a bolt. Take this bolt off and make sure you have something like this handy so that you could secure the caliper. I'll check what size that one is. Okay, that one is 11. Actually, it's 10. My bad. When you're removing it, probably hold with the other hand, hold your brake caliper. Wow, I just broke that bolt. Sucks, but oh well. So hold it like this. Like I say, this one broke off. No idea why. But yep. As far as this bolt goes, like I say, unfortunately mine broke. Good thing on my replacement one I have all good. So my advice is use like Buster or WD-40, spray around it to make sure yours not gonna break off. Next step is I wanna remove this one right here. I'll check what size it is in a minute, and it's, yep, it's 10. This one comes off, looks like easily. And finally what you'll need to remove is right here. I'll check what size it is in a minute. I think I got it right, but good thing I have a replacement right here to make sure. Right. Yeah, that's the right one, and that's a T30. So like I said, T30. Let's try again. It's going. There it is. And it's out. And all brake caliper parts are out, and they're not gonna bother me. So next step is to remove this roller, and there are two screws right here. Keep forgetting to use gloves. My advice is, if you remember, use gloves. I had them, but I keep forgetting to put them on. That might be complicated, but first I'll try to do it just like that with a regular screwdriver. Okay, one is out. try with this one. Alright, out too. Sometimes they get stuck and you have to drill holes out, very complicated, so hopefully you're not gonna have issues with it. Alright, rotor is out. So next step for us is take this tie rod end out. $18mm. So to take the tie rod off, we're gonna use a T40 right here, and we're gonna use 18mm wrench. My recommendation is get one like this. They can be expensive, but it's a lot easier to use them. Should look something like this. So for next part, you can either keep this on just a bit and use a hammer to take the ball joint off, or if you wanna be nicer to this whole assembly, be nice to it, you could use something like this. And I'll try this, I'll see how it works. I never used this one before. Oh no, for this one I don't really like it. I'll just do my usual one, keep this nut on and just beat like this. Okay, we'll try with a bigger 4-pound hammer. Still not going. There you go. Wow, that wasn't easy. Let's use this one. Now, again, we're gonna use this one on top, this one at the bottom of the nut. A lot of people that drive on Jeeps use them. Anyway, now you can just take it off. And now tie rod end is off. Like I say, mine was very damaged before, so it will be a time to replace it as well. So since the tie rod end link is off, now we're gonna remove sway bar link. Same thing, inspect yours. This one seems, no, this one's bad too. So I'm gonna replace that as well, but I'll show you how to remove it. This one's actually, I recently removed one on Honda Ridgeline. It was very tough. This one's pretty easy. At least what it seems like 18mm inch. I mean 18mm wrench, just put right there to make sure nothing is moving. On the other side is gonna be, let's see, also 18. Should be easy, but you're about to find out. And it's off. So to remove, I just beat here on this side. This side came out a bit. You can actually rotate the wheel. Not sure if it'll be helpful or not, but now let's see what we'll try to do with the screwdriver. Actually, maybe this will be useful overall. Well, it's out. Completely shattered in pieces. Now, I don't know if I broke it or if it was like that, but it's out. I'm not sure yet if this part is needed, but what I'll do is I'll just put a little bit of paint here just to see how, when I take this assembly off, to see how far back I have to put it. So hopefully last step, maybe not, I don't know, but it's taking this bolt off. Okay, the size is actually 18 after all, so put 18 wrench here, and that star T, I forgot, I told you before, T40 or something, same thing we used here, so hopefully it's gonna work. Okay, I'll give this tool another try. I think it worked. Either it's coincidence or not, but it worked. Now that that ball joint came off, I'm gonna completely remove the nut. I think to actually remove it, I'll have to also take this one off too. So I'll take this nut off and that bolt underneath. I'll just use vice grips on top and 19mm, 18 range socket right there. As always, that nut you just remove securely with this bolt to make sure you don't lose it. Now we're gonna slide this fork piece off. Hopefully it's gonna help us to lower this control arm. it's off now. And actually, it's kind of sliding off. Looks like. Cool. So there we go, it's removed. As you can see, I did that paint just to see how far to put the other one in. Alright, so now we're gonna put the new one in. Like I told before, it might be a good time to change this, and I'll change this one as well. This one's definitely not good. Okay, I just replaced it right here. Put a new one in. I'll do a how-to video a bit later when I'll do it on another side. It'll be probably next couple of days. So now we'll actually put the assembly. Hopefully. Again, when I did it, looks like you have to use hammer. So next step is we're gonna move this fork, whatever, back on the lower control arm. Don't secure it, just push it back like this. Took a while, pretty much I rotated this till I get some somewhat good position here, and then I use hammer and feed here to get it going. Now if you put your assembly a bit higher, now it's time to get it a bit lower again. Okay, I think now it's at the same level. Now you can put the drop link back there, or try to at least. You can do a lot of those when you can rotate this, you can secure a lot of items. As I always do, I only loosely secure stuff. Just hand tie it for now, just in case. So same thing with this one, gonna loosely secure it. Now we're gonna secure this fork to the lower control arm. We'll also secure this piece. I think it was right here, and this one. Put this one back if you didn't already. T30 is the one that secures this one. Okay, we can start with securing all bolts. I'd say don't connect the tie rod end yet, we'll do it in the last. Let's do this one right here, that fork. So we'll do this one. Next one is a lower control arm bolt. It's 18mm, and make sure you have a star G40. I'll do this the last one because you can turn the whole assembly whichever way you want to make it easier. Let's secure the drop link or whatever it's called. Guess I'll start from here. 18mm here and 18mm on the other side as well. Now it's time to secure tie rod end link. I told before I'll replace mine, but just so you know how it's done, you just align this wheel bearing over their wheel assembly and you push it through. Here's how you put tie rod back in, tie rod end link or whatever tie rod end. Like I say, you can't do this job without this T40 star. Make sure it's pretty short, because when you do a lower control arm there's not much room. I don't know if you could see, but there's not much room for it. So get something like this, short. My advice is use this kind of wrench too. You're not required to, but it's a lot easier with that kind. Okay, so next one what we do is we put this rotor. So one gonna be right here. These ones don't have to be tight. One thing also I recommend you guys do is, once you put the rotor on, make sure the shield behind it, make sure it's not touching the rotor. And way too simple test is just do like this. If you don't hear any weird sounds, you good. If you do hear something, use a screwdriver or something to move that shield back. What I did is actually with a flashlight, and I think I finished it last night, but with a flashlight from like iPhone or something, I looked in the back, make sure, like checked everything, make sure nothing touching, and with a screwdriver I was able to move shield a bit, and now it's good, as you can see. And what we'll do next is we'll put this brake caliper on the rotor. Hopefully it won't be too tough, but what we'll try to do is, before I put the bolts in, I'll actually try to make sure it's all aligned and lays flat with this. Alright, so brake calipers are secured. To be honest, it took me a very long time to do it. For whatever reason, my replacement, the wheel upright or whatever wheel hub assembly, was very rusted, and for whatever reason I didn't want to go in there. Took me probably overall more than an hour to get it in. What helped me finally is I sprayed those holes where this T55 bolt was have to go through, two of them. I sprayed with WD-40. Even then it didn't really help much. What helped is, after WD-40 I also used NTC's lubricant, put some in those holes, and then it went through. So finally it's in. before we work on putting back brake pads, other thing is we'll put this bolt right there, if you can see it right here. So next step, we'll put the brake pads back. If yours are old or pretty much, it might be a good time to replace yours. Mine seem to be okay for now, but I don't have a new ones. Probably if I had, I'd replace them, but whatever, not too bad. So they look alike, two sides, so whichever side you put will be fine. Brake pads, not a big deal, but pads would not fit. So what I did is, see right here, I just use a screwdriver like this. Just be careful, because if you do it like this way, you might damage the rollers. Take this pin, retaining pin, whatever it's called, from that side. Just make sure whenever you do it, make sure that that dot or that small hole is visible, because when you're gonna push it in, you're gonna have to put back this retaining clip or whatever it's called. And I guess I'll try to do it with a small hammer. For this step, I also definitely recommend just turning the steering wheel so that you have pretty much a lot easier access, and you can keep this hammer like this. It's a bit easier than fits over there. There you have it. Now next step is this pin. You'll put it in just like this, push it. Now we have to connect these sensors. First one like this. Second one we'll put it this way. You use your screwdriver to make sure it's all connected. And that's pretty much it. Your wheel assembly replacement is done.